everybody. Welcome to Rautalampi, Finland. We are live for the fourth event on our ATSX Ice Cross Downhill World Championship. We are looking at the last leg of the track here in Rautalampi. It's one of the originals. It's a fantastic location here. It's looking like there's a little bit of snow falling, and that's going to make life interesting on track for athletes today. Getting ready for the round of 16, that is the quarterfinals. And we're going to see some familiar faces from the last two events. Some guys that have managed to come over from the U.S. from the Mont du Lac event, including, I believe, Jack Schrem has managed to make his way over, having gotten 5th place just outside the top 4 in Mont du Lac. So hopefully we'll be seeing him racing later on today. One of those interesting characters that's been around Ice Cross for a few years. His best result, by the way, was this 5th place in Mont du Lac. Prior to that, he had been 6th, 7th place around that marker. So it tends to be on improvement level. Another guy of note that we have here today is Robin Warling. He just won the last heat that he was in, going towards our quarterfinal here as we take a quick look at the track here in Rautalampi. Up by the water tower, you see that start area, and that's where the guys are going to be kicking off this race. Big long left-hand turn going immediately into a 180-degree right-hand turn. This one is a very twisty course, dropping down a few meters down to the finish area, but you can see there's a lot being built into this course. Now, the guys who are actually building the crew known as Item, and it's 10 guys. They spend the entire winter up there taking care, building this, and maintaining this track so that this event can happen, and a lot of other smaller events for kids and people that are just wanting to get into the sport of ice cross downhill. It's a fantastic location, and we're looking forward to some really excellent racing here today in Rautalampi. And there you see one of our fixed camera positions over to the right-hand side. You've Ice Arena over to the left-hand side, the viewers area, and just ahead there into the finish. Yeah, I believe that is the finish area down there. This is a pretty challenging track, though. A lot of little twists and turns, a lot of bumps and jumps, and there's a certain amount of skill level that's required for this as we take a ride down the track here in Judenburg as we take a look back at some of the action from the last two events in Austria, and it was wild. Michael Urban was solid on both of those event days and managed to come across the line with the win on both days. Mirko Lahti right there, former two-time junior world champion, absolutely a dominator out there, and we'll be looking to see him do well in Finland. He'll want to have a good showing on home soil, and as you can see, it was a devastating uphill battle for a lot of these guys to cross that finish line in Judenburg. Some great racing, some very interesting crashes, a couple of situations where the guys were like, oh, what's going on here? But we had a lot of fun watching everything that's going on, and we're going to have a lot of fun watching everything that's going on here today in Rautalampi. Oh, and I've just been informed Mirko Lahti, a former junior world champion, he's not going to be able to participate today. He's gotten a positive COVID test, so he's in what's called COVID protocol. Unfortunately for him, we're not going to see one of the strongest athletes on course here today from Finland. So that's a bummer for a home crowd favorite. That gives an opportunity to a lot more riders out there to battle their way through and try and get onto the top of the podium. Should also mention Arttu Pilainen is our the main referee actually for this event. He is a former world champion, and he is also the head of the Ice Cross Association in Finland. So this guy's got pedigree here and knows exactly what's up when it comes to these races, these courses, and of course, what it takes to become a champion. Also, our start referee, Paavo Ilomäki. He's been a start referee for the last 5 years. He's a really strict guy up there at the top of the course. The athletes like him. They respect him. but you don't want to mess around with this guy when you're waiting at the top of the course. As always, we've got the Finnish referee down there at the very end, Paavo Klintrop. He's also a former rider. He's one of the most experienced ice cross racers in the world. So having these guys in the referee positions at the top and at the bottom and taking care of the entire thing, it just makes that much better for all our athletes in the fairness category and everything. It looks very cold there today. If you know anything about Finland, it's going to be about -15, -20 minimum. But track is open the entire winter. Like I was saying, the Icemen taking care, maintaining, building, and operating this track so that anybody can give it a try and, yeah, try their luck with ice cross downhill. I do believe that at some point we're going to have Robin Warling do a on-camera run of the course. It could be somebody else. We're not sure about that yet. We're just waiting to find out who is actually going to be running our on-camera down the course so that you get a look at this 350-meter long track. Top speeds around 45 kilometers per hour, if you can imagine being on course and racing down the track at that speed on a little itsy-bitsy thin piece of metal, then yeah, it's quite exciting. I'll tell you that much.
Ja nyt meillä alkaa siellä väki olemaan pikkuhiljaa valmis. Joonas, jos olet matkalla. Joonas, if you're on your way up.
So just waiting for my picture to come back up here.
Hurry up. We got a live thing to do. So hurry up, Joonas.
Ah, it's flashing on me. Ah, getting little quick pics of various locations of the course. There we go. See right there how rutted that track is looking. Also, some of those features that the guys are going to have to deal with. And it's through the woods. You can't make a mistake there. If you do, you're going to end up eating trees. So that's something you don't want to do.
Siellä rupeaa Joonas olemaan myöskin pikkuhiljaa ylhäällä. Hän ehkä hämmentyy tuosta, kuinka jyrkkä tuo meidän mäkemme on, ja hänen pakarat ovat saattaneet väsyä hieman, ja hän on joutunut pitämään taukoa. Täällä alhaalla tosiaan rupeaa olemaan kaikki valmiina, odottelemme vaan, että tämä saadaan lähtö liikkeelle. Ollaan muutama minuutti aikataulusta myöhässä. Toivotaan, että se ei ole liikaa. Ja tosiaan tarvii kiittää. Se ei ole liikaa, tarkoittaa, että kukaan ei lähtenyt sen takia. Ja meillä tosiaan, jos kohta näette tässä semmosia nopeasti piilettäviä pieniä huomioliiving-sankareita, niin meillä on Malena ja Urho täällä, jotka sitten juoksevat näitä kameroita tästä maalista tonne kopin kulmalle, koska meidän tarvii saada nämä samat kamerat sitten seuraavaan hiittiin aina, niin muistakaa kannustaa myös näitä nuoria. Nuoria sankareita entistä parempaan suorituksia.
All right, so just waiting on our first athletes to be coming out on course here. Round of 16, that is the quarterfinals. Top two athletes from each heat moving on to the next heat. So those are critical. And I was just mentioning the Rautu turntable is right out of the start. That's going around that water tower at the top. You know, it's that left-hand turn, then the right-hand 180, and that's just a section that's really difficult. You have to choose your lines very carefully up there. They've also got a couple of very tricky sections with the double steps, drops, and the rock drop section. So these guys have done a lot to make this course challenging for these athletes, but also fair. So looks like our first heat is in the gate. Quarterfinal heat number 1. Lucas Corsatonski in the mix there, along with Marco Delago. Nice to see Marco Delago back in there as well, along with Richard van Wieghe, one of the older guys that's racing, and Arthur Richlet-Chadur from France in the mix in this first heat in the quarterfinals as well. So Marco Delago, who actually was the guy who was instrumental in producing and organizing the 2 events in Judenburg, and 2 weeks ago was unable to race at his own events because he too also got a positive COVID test. So he and his whole family more or less were in COVID protocol for 2 of the races that they had there in Judenburg, which was a real bummer. But it's great to see Marco back and available and ready to race here in Rautalampi in Finland. And there's a lot of guys that have made the way over from various locations around the world. We also have Luke Webb from Australia, who should be racing today. I didn't see his name on my list yet, but I hope to see him out on course. It would be a real disappointment for him, having made 32 hours of travel to get over to Europe for racing just twice and having to get stuck in COVID protocol. So hopefully that hasn't happened, but we'll keep you up to date on things as we go along. All right, so once again, Lucas Corsatonski, we've got Richard van Wieghe, Lago, and Arthur Richlet-Chadur in the first heat. Just waiting to get our cameras set up top, and I believe we've got 4 or 5 fixed cameras on course, and I hopefully will have head cameras or onboard cameras with each of our athletes that's racing, but I haven't actually seen one shot of the start area at this point so far. So we'll see once we get back up to the top there how this is all going to come down. I'm just waiting for a shot from the top. It appears as though that one finish line camera is working just fine.
Aivan prima kunnossa, niin nämä gladiaattorit saa mennä sitten ja kisata reilusti alusta loppuun asti. Ja sen vuoksi meillä on myöskin tuossa radan varrella tuomareita, joista meidän ehkä tunnetuin suomalainen laskija Arttu Pihlainen, joka pyörittää Suomen lajiliittoa ja on kansainvälisessä lajiliitossa myöskin mukana. Niin on tuolla radan yläosassa ja näkee sieltä melkein koko radan, niin on päätuomarina. Sitten meillä on muita tuomareita siinä aina yhdellä osiolla, joka vastaa sitä omasta osiostaan. Ja sitten meillä on tosiaan Paavo Klintruun, pitkän liiton laskija.
All right, there we go. Now we're up at the start. So Richlet-Chadur very far in there, right next to him, Marco Delago. Then you can see Richard van Wieghe in gate number 2. And that first gate, Lucas Corsatonski, our Polish athlete. There you see Marco with his Delago Brothers racing jersey on. Former world champion, one of the fastest guys, and actually one of the guys that was instrumental in forcing all the other athletes to actually take their training to another level as he came on strong. And I believe it was the 2016 season when he actually won the world championship title. And he did it through incredible starts. He just got out of that gate so quick. And once he was out in front, his skating ability was just head and shoulders above everybody else's at that time. And that gave him the opportunity to really move ahead and become one of the best athletes in the world. He's still competing hard, but he's also, as I said, instrumental in organizing these various events, in particular in Austria, in Judenburg, and making sure that the athletes there have an opportunity to race and train throughout the winter season. And a lot of waiting at the top right now, as you can see the water tower in the background. There's the guys just get warmed up and stay warm on the ice there. Antti Tolvanen having some fun. One of the craziest guys you're ever going to see race. He's got such an unconventional skating style. He's so, I don't know how to explain it. He looks like Big Bird on ice, but it works for him, you know? He's fearless. He gets out there and just does it, and he's successful with it. So it'll be nice to see him racing again. Hopefully we can keep everything fair between all these guys in the racing, and just waiting for that start to go. I mean, it's the tension that's mounting for everybody. It looks like our start guy is getting everybody, our start official is getting everybody in the gates here. So just waiting on those final moments here. And also you'll notice some of these guys are wearing the camera on their heads. Now, whether or not we're going to have live views from those cameras is another question, hopefully, because it's a very exciting way for us to see how this sport actually looks and feels like when they're on course. We do see our start official there with the head camera taking a look down the line. There we see Michael Urban, the winner of the first two events of the season in Judenburg. So he's got himself a nice set of points, and he's here to race and do it again. Will he be able to do it against the Finnish contingent that's here in racing and are familiar with this track? That's another question, and that remains to be seen. Here we go. Now we're getting some views from our onboard cameras. That would be Arthur Richelieu. That's his red visor. Right next to him will be Marco Dalago in the lineup. Not sure whose camera that is right there, but that could be Richard van Viehe talking to our judges in the back. It is looking chilly, and the snow falling is not helping the situation. No, that's our that we're seeing the camera shot from. I like their referee jerseys. I love Rautalampi. Okay, yes, last minute preparations on those start cameras for these guys. So that's what our officials at the start are taking care of. So the one thing that does happen when the snow is falling is that means there's cloud cover, and that also means that the light is pretty flat. This is one of the reasons we see a lot of blue paint stripes on the side and at the edges of the various features, where those feature starts and stops are, so that they know where they're skating, because in flat light all those features basically look flat. So if you don't have those markings on the course when it is overcast like that, you tend to be a little bit surprised by the situation out there. Okay. Now we're hearing a little bit of sound finally from the top there. The anticipation is the worst part, waiting to get these guys out on course and making sure that we have starting conditions for all. So there are for our athletes live. And there you can see the color breakdowns of their gate start positions. And you can see the green mark there on that gate. That is for Richard van Viehe at the very front there. Corsatonski, Lucas in red. Then Marco Dalago, the blue gate. And Arthur Richelieu Chadur with the yellow or golden gate. Now I'm noticing that Marco Dalago has gate number 3, and because of this first left-hand turn, it could be that these first two gates, in this case gates 3 and 4, are the preferred gates to have, There you see Arttu Pilainen, the blue jacket. He is an absolute legend in the sport downhill. Was dominant in the sport for years. All right. So hopefully we'll get the go-ahead here shortly. The problem here with the long delay at the top, especially when the weather is cold, is these guys get cold, and then that makes it a little bit more difficult for the racing, of course, because the anticipation is there, and you got to keep moving and keep your body warm and make sure that your muscles stay loose, because the last thing you want to have is something cramp up in the middle of a race. So that's a really important thing for these guys, is just to stay warm, stay active, stay moving before the start here, so that they don't have to wait so long to get out on course. So you can see that first turn, it's fairly big and sweeping. Those positions 3 and 4, where we see Marco Delago and Arthur Richelieu-Chadour, are probably prime positions, especially if you're a guy like Marco who's got that quick start, can line up fairly simply and get out in front with the whole shot. Like I said, a lot of the other guys are working on their starts and making sure that they are right there along with them. All right. Now we're getting the fist bumps. This is a good sign. So Richelieu-Chadour, then Marco Delago, then Richard van Vliet, and Lucas Corsatonski. Gate heat is ready to go. Goggles down, locked and loaded. Here we are. First race of the day in this quarterfinal. And on course they go. Looks like it's Marco Delago out in with a solid behind him, I believe. Advantage out into a good spot to take that first hand turn and then into the right hand turn. And that race happened quickly. I lost a little bit of my video there, but I'm going to say that on that one was Marco Delago. Richelieu-Chadour from France got second place. Corsatonski, Lucas Corsatonski in third, and Richard van Vliet coming across the line in fourth. So the way it works here is the first and second guy across the line move on to the next set of heats. The third and fourth guy across the line are unfortunately eliminated from action. As we take a look back here at some of the action in that first left hand and then the right hand. Look how tight that one is right there. Oh my goodness. Great line choice by Marco Delago. And this course, you can see, is also not exceptionally wide in some of those very, very challenging sections. And yeah, you can also see there's a lot of twists and turns. There's a lot of features that these guys have to deal with. But Marco Delago just opened up the floodgates on speed, heading down towards those last two step-ups and then the rollers into the finish. And the sprint to the finish was really a battle to find that second position. And it was, yeah, Corsatonski challenging Chadour, but not quite enough. And so it's going to be Marco Delago and Arthur Richelieu-Chadour moving on to the next round.
Okay, stand there.
Okay, so locked in the gate now, and as we take a look at a skate around of our two athletes moving on to the semifinal, we have a Canadian in the mix in the red gate up at the top, Eric Milinkovic. Then Patrick Mertz from Switzerland will be alongside him, Max Nymark from Finland, and Leo Kalekis from France. So a nice mix of athletes in this next heat coming up, as A good Canadian kicks in there. Do well, Eric. He's been challenging all season long. Is this going to be the breakout season for Eric Milinkovic? Don't know. There's some fine skaters in there with him. Max Nymark, for instance, from Finland. We know the Finnish are excellent gliders, excellent strides, and these guys really have the opportunity to train here all winter long and be familiar with this course. So that's a real advantage for any of the Finnish riders. And by the way, he's got that gait that Marco Delago had, that prime gait position for getting out there and really finding that line quickly. Patrick Mertz is no slouch either. He's a veteran of ice downhill. He's been around the sport for a long, long time. He knows exactly what he needs to do, but he's got a bit of a rough gait over there on the far side of this shot. As you can see, he's right next to Eric Milinkovic from Canada. So those two guys probably are going to have a little bit more work cut out for them getting out there and trying to compete with the guys, Max Nymark and Leo Kalekis from France, because they've got those two prime gate positions over on the left-hand side, or riders left of the course. If you're looking at it from the video point, it's to the right-hand side of your screen. And yeah, we're just getting those guys lined up for their heat, and hopefully we have clean video feeds for that one as well. That first race was quick. It happened very fast. 350 meters, when you're skating 45 kilometers an hour, you get down there really fast. As we take a quick replay again of how tight it was in those first couple corners, but then Marco Delago lays the pedal to the metal, puts a hand down on that first right hand 180, and you can see he really tightens up the lines as he gets farther ahead. And this is what I was talking about. His skating and his gliding efficiency are so good, and he just gets out there and opens up the lead on Arthur Richelieu-Chadur, who you can see with that red visor. And over these last couple of features, he just sucks up that last tabletop and jams down on the rollers as he gets through into the finish line. Easy win for Marco Delago there as we get ready to drop our second heat in the quarterfinal here. So just waiting on fist bumps from our officials, and it looks like we've got them already. No, here we go. We're going to get them now. So there we see Leo Kalekis representing France in, I guess this is gate number 1. I don't know how they've organize these gates number-wise. Gate number 2 in this case, Max Nymark. Then gate 3, Patrick Mertz. Gate 4, Eric Milinkovic. Could be the other way around, Eric Milinkovic. And gate number 1, don't know. And at this point, it's all good, waiting for these guys to get on course. He's in the red gate. Patrick Mertz has green. Max Nymark blue. Leo Kalekis in yellow. And here we go. On gate they go. Oh, great start by all of them. Patrick Mertz battling with Leo Kalekis. And Leo Kalekis gets the whole shot as he comes around that right hand 180-degree turn. Excuse me. I just choked up a nut. Eric Milinkovic is struggling at the back there in 4th place. He needs to really put the jets on if he wants to catch up with the Frenchman out in front. In top spot. And it looks like it's Patrick Mertz right behind him. Kalekis out in front. Oh, he takes a big air there. Sucks up that last tabletop through the rollers now for Kalekis. He's going to take this one without anything happening. And here comes Patrick Mertz with a great finish. Oh, was that ever close across the finish line? It's the feet first to count, and it was Patrick Mertz just getting there in 2nd place. A great race by Leo Kalekis, though. And look at that. Patrick Mertz absolutely burnt as he came across. He was in 2nd for most of the race, but then Max Nymark, the finish flash, came in and challenged hard in the last couple of meters, and it really forced Patrick Mertz to put the pedal to the metal in the last couple of strides to get his foot across the finish line in 2nd place. So Leo Kalekis with a great race, and that gate obviously advantageous on the left-hand side up at the top. He takes the win on this one. You can see, oh, he came close to that tree. Padded or not, that's going to hurt if you hit it. And then that right-hand 180-degree turn. Kalekis with the lead, closing off those lines, protecting his lines. Patrick Mertz right there with him. But what was critical here is Max Nymark. He was right there on top of Patrick Mertz. And here is where he started to challenge. Mertz had a little bit of trouble there. He got a little bit in the back seat, and throw those back rollers is where it really became a tough one for Patrick Mertz. And right there, he just cuts him off, protects his line. A grab by Patrick Mertz. 2nd place here, relegating Max Nymark to 3rd, and Eric Milinkovic out of the actually and ended up being last in this race, so will be eliminated in this one. So great job by Leo and Patrick going 1 and 2 as we get ready for heat number 3 in the gate. Now, the guy to watch out for here, Levi Nakari, that man right there in pink. Very, very fast out of the gate. He is a slick skater, but right next to him in that prime gate spot, Michael Urban, who won the first 2 events of the season, and he is on fire this year. Another Canadian in the mix here, Laurent Goulet. Oh, excuse me, there's been a small change here. Theo Richelet-Chadour is going to be in that one. And yeah, Laurent Goulet-Garneau, he's just moved the gate position. He is over in gate number 1, or red gate. So it's be another Canadian in the red gate, tough position on the very far left-hand side, looking at it from this perspective here. Then right next to him, Theo Richelet-Chadour in the green gate, wearing the red helmet. Michael Urban, the winner of the first 2 races of the season, in the blue gate, and Levi Nakari in the gold gate. Now, this one should be interesting to see how Levi Nakari and Michael Urban do against each other. 2 guys familiar with each other. Both of them have good gate starts, but Michael Urban has been the better strider through the season so far. However, Levi Nakari, being a Finn, has the opportunity to skate here and knows this course. And he is a former junior racer who is now biding his time with the men. There we see in all gray, Laurent Goulet-Garneau. Right next to him, Theo Richelet-Chadour, the brother of Arthur. Then Learn in all black, and in the pink jersey, it's Levi Nakari. All right, looks like we are pretty close to being good to go as we get the fist bumps from our start official, and that is a sign for us that this is hot.
Riders, ready! 5 seconds warning, go!
Oh, good start by Michael Urban. Gets the whole shot right away. Goes around that first left-hand corner and in the lead at the right-hand corner. But Nakari is right there, shoulder to shoulder with him. And I think that Nakari might have even squeaked out in front. He has, and now Nakari has the lead. Here comes that track advantage for the Finns as he jumps over that little feature right there and starts to open up the lead. Now, it looks like it's Theo Richelet-Chadour behind Nakari in second place. I don't know what's happened to Michael Urban. He's back there battling with Goulet-Garneau, and that is an unusual spot for Michael Urban to be in. So it's going to be Theo Richelet-Chadour coming across right behind Levi Nakari. Michael Urban, the surprise here, is coming across the line in 4th place. That is a disappointing finish for a guy who has been on fire all season long. But again, there's the beauty of ice cross downhill. Anything can happen, and we saw exactly that. One of the favorites eliminated here in the quarterfinals. So Michael Urban, we will not see him racing anymore today. Levi Nakari staying with Michael Urban right off the start, and then they were shoulder to shoulder outside of that first right-hand turn after the water tower turn, and Nakari just took advantage of one step, and that was the difference maker for him. Great job by the Finn. Michael Urban eliminated. Goulet-Garneau, unfortunately, also eliminated, but a nice race by the Frenchman, Theo Richelet-Chadour. And man, these guys here in Finland, they're super efficient with their cameras and everything, so making sure that those get delivered back up to the top really quickly. Very, very impressed how things are working here in Rautalampi. Bit of a tough start for Goulet-Garneau. I think he toe-picked and had a little bit of trouble staying on his feet, then finally got his stride. And at the end, just those last couple of jumps were a little bit difficult for him. And I think he got tangled up, actually, with Michael Urban towards the end. We'll have to see in the replays what happened up there. But the snow continues to fall here in Finland. And that's the other thing. Believe it or not, snow can make these already slippery tracks even more slippery because it takes away some of that grip that these guys are expecting to have under their blades. And because a lot of these guys sharpen their blades very, very flat to have better glide, it means their edges aren't as strong as if they had a typical sharpening that you would have for a hockey player or something. And there you could see the official results. Levi Nikari, Tio Rishle-Shadur 1 and 2, Laurent Goulet in 3rd place, and Urban in 4th place. So unfortunate for Mike Urban, who had a great start to the season and will take some points home today, but not the points that he had hoped to have. So the last heat in our quarterfinals is in the gates. Valtteri Vakkonen, who's been really, really good today. Another Finn in there, and along with Antti Tolvanen, who I mentioned earlier, is one of the most unconventional skating styles ever. Then Robin Warling, who has absolutely been fantastic this season so far. And if you've never heard of Robin Warling, all you got to do is go online and check his basketball dunk on skates. Then we have Jesse Sauren in the mix. So this is 3 Finns and a Brit racing in this heat. Here we go. Or not. Seems like they were locked and loaded. Ah, here we go. Now we're going to get the start. All right, good start by all 4 of the guys. Robin Warling with the early lead as he comes out of that right, or out of the left into the right, and he is out in front. He's also a big guy, so once he gets out in front, he's tough to pass, especially if he's striding. His long, they reach all the way to the ground, and so Robin Warling with the lead so far as we have our camera position stuck up at the top. But Rob Warling, such a strong skater as he heads down towards the finish line in first base. It looks like it's as he's struggling to find his legs. He comes across the finish line in 2nd place. Again, that crazy bird leg unconventional style for Antti Tolvanen works for him. I love it. The guy is just so bananas, but it's fantastic to see his racing out there. Robin Warling got that one with a great start out of the gate, but it was pretty even. But where he really took advantage is in that first right-hand turn, and the left-hand turn, and then that 180-degree right-hand turn. And there you see fist bumps from Antti Tolvanen for our Finnish camera. Oh yeah, that was a good race right there. So that's not looking like Robin Warling. Nope, there he is. So Robin Warling actually lives and trains in Canada, but as a British citizen is racing for Great Britain. And he has been very, very, very good. Recently, we saw another video of him making another fantastic dunk, this time not off of a natural ice jump, but off of a small man-made launch ramp with a piece of artificial ice on it. That was another great one. That's just something that he's become. I think news on the first time he did it, just absolutely bananas. So that is just adding to his skill on skates. And Robin Warling and Antti Tolvanen will be moving on to the finals. So our semifinals are ready to go for the men. They are locked and loaded. We have all of our 8 guys. And now I believe we will have a women's race. And it looks like in this particular heat, we're going to have semi-full number 1 of our women with 3 athletes, or do we have 4 in there? I think it's only 3. And there you see from Austria, Veronika Windisch. She's been the dominant woman from the European side for a year to 2 years now. Before the whole lockdowns and before the whole COVID protocols, she was making one of the women challenging for the world champion title. And I think that we'll see her definitely making a push as we move forward with ice cross downhill and start traveling again to the bigger ATSX 1000 races and the ATSX 500 races. So yeah, 2 Finns. But we're not going to see Veronica Windisch. So we're going to have Karolina Plugova, Czech Republic. She's in the gold gate right there. Next to her in the blue gate, Misa Klemola and Mariut Klemola in the green gate. So only 3 in the gate. It's critical to be among the top 2 to make it to the women's final. This is the last chance qualifier. And the fans on the sideline seem to be enjoying it. Nice. Always good to see people out here checking out it. All right, right out of the gate, Misa Klemola has some experience on these courses, takes an early lead, and she is out in front at that 180-degree right-hand turn. Karolina Plugova struggling at the back a little bit, and Mariut Klemola sitting in second place, but we're on board now with Misa. Yeah, and coming down towards the last part of the race here, these features, oh, that is a gap jump and then a step down tabletop. That is tricky to navigate then through the set of rollers. And Misa Klemola navigating nicely, gets on the gas for those last few strides, and right there, Klemola. And there's, yeah, that's Karolina Plugova. So she comes in third place, but we'll see Misa Klemola and Mariut Klemola first and second place in that heat.
You two stand here. Come here. And just look in my direction.
Ja seuraavassa hiitissä Veronica Windisch, Amandine Controyer. Ja Veronica Windisch tosiaan otti Itävallassa näytösluontoisesti molempien viikonloppujen mestaruuden.
Okay,
Katsotaan miten Itävallan ratahan oli enemmän tuommoinen.
Okay, so there's going to be a bit of a delay here as we get Misa Klemola back to the top. Oh, no, we're going to go right into this is actually a non-race between Amandine Condorieux and Veronica Windisch. So these two racing down to the bottom, and it's just about bragging rights at this point, I would say. I'm not really 100% sure on what's happening here. It says final heat 1, but I do believe we should have all 4 riders in for the final as we're on board with Veronica Windisch at the moment. And as I said, this Austrian woman is very, very strong. Former Olympic speed skater, short track. So as far as technical ability is concerned, she definitely has it. Amandine Condorieux was a former aggressive inline skater, and as far as being able to use those transitions and the features on the course, definitely an advantage for her. Both of them very, very strong as they come across 1 and 2.
Naisten
And it seems that I may have miscalled that previous race. Misa Klemola definitely winning that one, but it appears as though it was in fact Karolina Plugova who managed to get in second place. So that being said, we do have appears to be fine, ready to go. We just need Veronica Vindish and Amandine Contrayeur back up to the top, and that will be added to our other two ladies, Misa Klamola and Kugova, for a women's final. In the meantime, the men's semifinal heat number 1 is getting ready in the gates there. We have Marco Delago. He's got his favorite in the red or the blue position, Leo Kalekis. He's got his favorite gate in that gold position as well. So those are the two advantageous gates for these two guys. Are, to be honest,
I hope it's good.
along that really so Patrick Mertz will have gate red on the far side there. First camera angle next to him will be Arthur Richlet-Chadour, then Marco Delago and Leo Kalekis from France.
It just ups the production value, you know?
But I heard nothing. So I'm worried. Oh, can't they reach me? And so like I'm checking it. Okay. But it seems like all good. So.
Paavo näyttää taas laskijoille,
No news is good news.
missä se linja menee. Ja ilmoittaa noin, Karo hakkas ovea tarpeeksi kauan. Ilmoittaa laskijoille vielä viimeittävät tiedot. Tosiaan mielenkiintoinen se tilanne. Meillä on naisten finaalissa siskokset, niin tästähän meidän on mahdollista, jos ykkösestä ja kakkosesta ranskalaiset menee, eli nimenomaan ranskalaiset Arthur Richlet-Chadour ja toisesta Theo Richlet-Chadour menee jatkoon.
All right, so last minute preparations for semifinal heat number 1 again. Mark Lago and Leo Kalekis clearly the favorite in this one, as they both have those good lines, and Leo Kalekis was solid in his previous heat. Arthur Richlet-Chadour, however, he's no slouch, and we saw that he definitely has a great start. I think the guy that's going to have the most trouble here is the Swiss man, Patrick Mertz, who is not so strong out of the start, but once he gets on course, his skating is top-notch. Here we go. Yeah, and a good start actually for Patrick. And the quick sprint to the inside, and it's Marco Delago out in front of Richlet-Chadour. So these two guys 1 and 2. Leo Kaleki is sitting back in 3rd place with Patrick Mertz back in 4th. Nice little hop there, then the rock drop coming down towards the bottom of the course. Remember, it's only 350 meters long, so that's long enough for a lot of stuff to happen. Now watch how he comes into this last few meters. Marco Delago, such a good finisher. And oh, big battle here with Patrick Mertz. Oh, what a finish by Patrick Mertz, who comes from 4th place to 2nd place, just ahead. Kalekis is lying there. He can't believe it. What an unbelievable turn of events. Never give up is the attitude there. And Patrick Mertz took that to heart, and he came across that finish line in 2nd place with a last-minute push on those last 100 meters or so. Unbelievable. What a turn of events at the finish line. Marco Delago taking this one, and Patrick Mertz just squeaking by the hair of his chinny chin. What a great finish. Leo Kalekis couldn't believe it. He was surprised by Patrick coming in and just squeaking by with that last-minute slide. Amazing finish. Marco Delago kisses buddy. 1st place for him, and he'll be moving on to the final.
Ihr stellt euch bitte dann wieder hin, ich skate dann ab, gell?
All right, so Patrick Mertz actually had a much better start than I imagined that he would have. Marco Delago always good out of the gate, though, but that gate position for him was definitely a bonus. And you could see Arthur Richlet-Chadour right on top of Marco Delago here. What was interesting, what was happening behind these two guys, which unfortunately we don't get to see really a lot of, but the battle that was going on back there with Leo Kalekis and here's where it got interesting. A bit of a mistake there by Rishlesha. He ends up crashing. Leo Kalis is in second place, and then right there at the finish, a fantastic last-minute push by Patrick Mertz, the Swiss man, second place. Had blocked down, made a mistake in the jump, went a too big crash, and that for guys to pass over. There's a happy man right there. Moving on to the finals. So the Rishlesha Dur brothers have an opportunity here with Theo. This time he's got the red gate on the far side of the screen here. Next to him, Antti Tolvanen. And then Robin Whirling, he's got that third gate position, and Levi Nakari. Now, Robin Whirling and Levi Nakari, they've raced together, but it's going to be interesting to see how two completely opposite style of racers get out of this right next to each other. Robin Whirling being the taller of the two men by his stride. Levi Nakari, though, he is so greasy in those corners, you cannot underestimate man's skills.
Nyt siinä on hyvä testipari vieressä, nimittäin Leevi ei ihan isoimmasta päästä ole, että siinä
Robin's actually looking pretty relaxed as he's leaning on the gate. Kind of a chill style up there.
Eli Robin Borlin kaveri laskemaan, ja sen lisäksi tämä on fyysinen, niin on tekninen, eli on vähän tommonen, jos on aikaisemmin seurattu laji, niin Kyle Kroksalmainen laskija.
Here we go. Wow, great start by all of the guys on board with Antti Tolvanen. There you go. Nakari, greasy on the inside, takes the lead. Robin Whirling doing all he can to stay with that quick Nakari out in front. Nakari's got the lead. Robin Whirling's going to try and find an advantage here. He needs to be careful, though, not to get too overzealous with his attempts past the very Nakari, and he comes at Tolvanen. Oh! Whirling goes down. Tolvanen makes the pass over the rollers. Tolvanen pushing those last few meters, and I'm thinking that probably Robin Whirling is going to complain. There was some contact between him and Antti Tolvanen, but I didn't see anything that was illegal. Antti Tolvanen was coming on the inside, and Robin Whirling was trying to protect his line, and he just got the worst of it. So unfortunately for the Brit, it looked like he's going to be out. Let's take a look at this again. Oh, there was that greasy, quick move on the inside. Nakari with that right-hand turn and the lead. Whirling right on top of him. Antti Tolvanen's camera view of those two guys out in... Nice hop up down the rock garden. And you can see now Nakari opening up the lead with his sliding, trying to gain some speed on the rollers. Oh, and he looks tangled up there protecting his line. And that's that spot that gave a wide open gate to Antti Tolvanen, who will move on to the final. So once again, that unconventional style by Antti Tolvanen works for him. He makes it to the final along with Levi Nakari. And that means we're going to have those two Finns in the final as we go back to the top for our women's final heat. Karolina Plugova, she's got that red spot on the far side of the gate. Amandine Condoyeur right next to her. Veronica Windisch in that third gate position, and Misa Klemola in the golden spot. And so far, Veronica Windisch has been dominating here all day long. All right, the ladies are on course, and of course we see out in front Veronica Windisch with the lead. That right-hand turn, and oh, we've got a camera falling off of Misa Klemola by the looks of it. I'm not sure whose camera we lost there, but somebody went down hard, face planting. But Veronica Windisch out in front, Coming towards the rock drop. She's wide open in front. Doesn't like anybody challenging her at all. As they come down towards this last round. Here's the rollers and Veronica Windisch. Oh, look at the distance she's got between her and I think it's Amandine Condrailleux. Oh, but there's been chaos back there. Oh, and it's Amandine actually coming in third place here. Unbelievable. Misa Klemola comes across the finish line in second. There was chaos on the rollers. Flugova still not across that finish line. Let's see if we can see on the replay what happened as we go down. Somebody this down, jump just beat rollers, and then trying through the rollers, there was absolute chaos. And it was actually Misa Klemola managed to avoid the drama and get through there in second place, and Amandine Condrailleux in third place. So that is your podium, and once again, Veronica Windisch, the dominant women's ice cross downhill skater here at the moment, comes across the finish line in first place, and that is 3 first place wins for Veronica Windisch this year. She is well on her way to having a championship title on her belt. And Karolina Flugova from the Czech Republic. I think it was her that actually fell down quite early on and lost her camera. And there you have it. Veronica Windisch wins this one. Misa Klemola with a great heat, staying tight. And Amandine Condrailleux, who has been also right there with Veronica all season long, comes across the finish line in third place this year, or this time around, excuse me. So that's your podium. Number 1, Veronica Windisch from Austria. Misa Klemova from Finland. And third place goes to France's Amandine Condrailleux. So once again, a great job by Veronica Windisch to really dominate this season so far. Still one more race to go, and hopefully things, the situation will allow for our athletes to be able to race in Italy at Alpi di Siusi. That still remains to be seen, but fingers crossed for that. All right, back to the top of our course, and we will be getting ready with the men's final. In this men's final, we have 2 Finnish athletes competing. Antti Tolvanen will be in there. Who is that crazy skater? Along with Arthur Richlet-Chadur. And, oh, it looks like we're going to have the small final here. Yes. Excuse me. So the small final, the Constellation heat is going to be with Theo Richlet-Chadur, Arthur Richlet-Chadur. So the brothers are going to be battling each other in the Constellation for positions 5, 6, 7, and 8 in the contest here today, along with Leo Kalekis and Britain's Robin Worley. And I mean, unfortunate for women to be in this position, but that's the nature of the beast. When you're battling with these guys on course, there is always the risk that somebody is going to crash, and you got the worst of it in that case.
Mielenkiintoista. Tehneet sotasuunnitelmaa ja pyrkivät motittamaan britit pois. Se nähdään aivan tuota pikaa, kun saadaan miesten pieni finaali liikkeelle. Muistakaa tosiaan, että myös ensi viikolla lasketaan samanlainen maailmancupin ATSX 250 kisaa. Se on Tsekeistä siirtynyt tänne Rautalammin loppuna lauantaina aikalaskut ja sunnuntaina kisapäivä sitten. Ensi viikon lopulle, ai että minkälaista keliä, siellä on auringonpaistetta ja 5 astetta ja alle 5 astetta pakkasta, niin
All right, Constellation final is locked and loaded in the gates, just waiting for the go-ahead as we get our start referee's view of the water tower and everything else that's going on up there. So Theo Richelet-Chadour, far end. Right next to him is his brother Arthur Richelet-Chadour. Then we have Leo Kalekis. 3 Frenchmen in the mix against Robin Warling from Great Britain. Here we go with the fist bumps, and it's official. Getting ready for our Constellation final here. Good start. Robin Warling getting pushed out by Arthur Richelet-Chadour, and he is sitting in second place now behind Richelet-Chadour, with Theo chasing him down. So the 2 brothers will be doing their best to try and get on that 1-2 spot here in this race. Big Robin Warling sitting right behind Arthur Richelet-Chadour as we're on board with Leo Kalekis at the moment. What a great view here as we go through the gap jump, then the step down. Oh, and it's a little bit of a problem for Arthur Richelet-Chadour. That leaves it wide open for Robin Warling to win this one. Leo Kalekis. So a little bit too much excitement from Arthur Chadour, who got a big chunk of the course in his face as he fell down at the last second. And once again, I remind you folks out there, anything can happen as we race here. Front, just behind him, Robin, then his brother, Theo. And look at this. This is where it went a little bit south for Arthur as they come down here. Robin Warling pushing hard, and it looked like Theo was make a pass on Robin Warling, and then was tangled up, but he manages to stay out of any drama, and so does Robin Warling. And those last few strides by big Robin Warling, he comes across the finish line in first place, Theo in second place, and is so that means respectively positions 5, 7, and 8 for those boys here today. That's some good points for Robin Warling in 5th place. Obviously not the points that he wanted to have, but he'll be satisfied with racing here today generally. So that means there's only one race left to take care of here today, and that is our men's final between Patrick Mertz, Antti Tolvanen, Marco Dalago, and Levi Nakari. One more look at this replay here with the Richelet-Chadour brothers sandwiching Robin Warling here. Let's see if we can find out what actually happened in this last section. So Theo working his way in over this last jump. They all come a little bit close together. Yeah, it was just a bit of a compression landing for Arthur Richelet-Chadour, who lost his footing, couldn't stay on his feet, went down, and the other 3 guys avoided him. And that was all she wrote. Robin Warling takes this one with Theo in second, Leo Kalekis in third, and Richelet-Chadour Arthur in 4th. All right, so our final is on heat already. Whoa, that was quick. And the battle between Levi Nakari and Marco Dalago heats up right away as those 2 guys are shoulder to shoulder. Marco Dalago takes a slight advantage here out in front, but Levi Nakari, like I said, he is greasy on those inside corners. He can find those lines and really be tricky, but it looks like Marco Dalago is starting to open up the lead as the 2 of them pull away from 3rd position. And, oh, Nakari goes down. Huge problems for Nakari as he slid out over top of the tabletop. Marco Dalago takes this one, and it is going to be Patrick Mertz coming in 2nd place. Oh, what a race for Patrick Mertz. Antti Tolvanen had 2nd locked down there, but it was that last push by Mertz that gave him another fine finish. Great job by that Swiss man, who obviously had some extra energy and some good strides at the end to take 2nd place in this one. Wow, what a race. And good job by Marco Dalago to hold off Levi Nakari in those first 2 corners and just open up the gap. All right, there you see Levi Nakari doing his best to try and stay with Marco Dalago, but as we know, championship pedigree with Marco Dalago, he knows how to do it and how to cut those lines and protect his lines above all. And Marco Dalago right here opens up a bit and This is where it kind of went a bit south for him. Oh, yeah. Levi toe-picked on a spot in the ice there. Lost his footing, went down before that gap jump. And from that point, there was no chance. But what a great push at the end by Patrick Mertz to just squeak across ahead of Antti Tolvanen. So Antti Tolvanen, great job by the Finnish skater to come across that finish line in third place, and he'll be on the podium with the bronze medal today. Patrick Mertz, good job as well to make the final push and get second place for the silver. And of course, Marco Delago, happy to see him back in racing after being stuck in COVID protocol for his 2 events at home. And he comes out grand style and wins here in Rautalampi, Finland. So big congratulations to Marco Delago. Nice to see him back racing again and standing there with Antti Tolvanen, the 2 of them talking about what happened on the race course. And you know that Tolvanen's going to be happy being on the podium. I think maybe I underestimated Patrick Mertz starts this time around. He was very good out of the gate. But more importantly, he stayed in solid position, didn't make any major mistakes on course. And what for him was the defining moment of these competitions and these races today is last push at the finish line. That straightaway after your legs are burning through all those corners and trying to stay on your feet. He had the energy and the power to make those final strides across the finish line, and he managed to do well today with a second place in that last push. Looking back again at the racing, and Marco Delago was under a lot of pressure from Levi Nakari, and it might, I'm not going to say it would have been, but it might have been a different situation had Levi Nakari not toe picked. Now the toe pick is coming up here. Pay close attention to his right leg as he comes down towards this gap jump. It just loops out on him in a gap in the ice. He doesn't make the gap jump cleanly, and it's Antti Tolvanen's camera position that we actually saw in second place. But then here comes Patrick Mertz from Switzerland with those last 3 or 4 strides and puts him in second position. A great job, and that is your podium. Antti Tolvanen in third place, Patrick Mertz in second place, and Marco Delago with the win and a great return to action and a victory for him. Fantastic racing today here in Rautalampi for event number 4 on our season, with one more event coming up on the 18th of February and the 19th of February, and that is Altisius. All things hope that it's going to run, but that's the plan so far. And we will keep you up to date as things flow closer to a hopeful invitational final event where we can have all of the winners from the first 4 to 5 events or 6 events of the season together for one final World Championship race on this, let's call it a strange season because of all the different restrictions and regional races only. The advantage is definitely on the European side because more points can be gained because the events and the races are closer together. For the Americans, it's a little bit more difficult to make it over to race in these European races. So there was only 1 or 2 races on the American side and Canadian side, but only 1 official race in Montulac. And Max Dunn won that one, but unfortunately Max Dunn and the other guys that raced there also not racing here this weekend. So yeah, that would be nice to see the top athletes being able to compete against each other worldwide once again, and that is hopefully what will happen depending on how things go with the restrictions so far. And everybody having some fun there, and an impromptu award ceremony at the finish line. Hey everybody, we hope you enjoyed the racing today. It was exciting. Glad to be back at it, and we will hopefully see you for the next set of races in Italy. Until that time, I'm Troy Mannering signing off for the ATSX Ice Cross Downhill World Championship, event number 4 from Rautalampi. Take care, everybody, and ciao.
Never.